Where is he? We can't find him! We can't freaking find him! You guys have any ideas?
No, me neither. No idea. No idea whatsoever.
Oh yeah, Zero Dark 30, let's found this, bitches, let's kill some of it, Dude, no, we don't need you to the end of the movie. What? You guys are in the last 20 minutes. What? This is our part. Oh. Not to the last part. Okay, I'll be back in a couple years. Sorry. Ugh. Man, what's the point? We're gonna need him in like the next 10 years. There's no way we can find this guy. Hey guys, what is up? It is BT from BT Reviews here with another video review to you today. Today we're talking about Zero Dark 30. So Zero Dark 30 is a movie directed by Kathryn Bigelow and written by Mark Bull. And they are the same people who brought us The Hurt Locker. And this is their project that they've been working on since then. Now this movie was great. It's seriously, I know this is like the first movie I've seen this year, but this is probably already going to be in my contenders for best movie of 2013. Yeah, you people in LA, New York, you guys are so special. You got this movie in 2012, it's going to be up for the Oscars nominations in 2012. I don't care. In my eyes, this movie came out in 2013, okay? So this movie is about the 10-year goal to capture and kill Osama bin Laden. And this movie opens up with this really eerie, like, recap of 9/11 where they show a black screen and you hear, like, these phone calls that were made on the days of 9/11. It really sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Soon after, we're introduced to Maya, portrayed by Jessica Chastain. Now, Jessica Chastain absolutely kills it at this role. She's already up for Best Leading Actress for this movie, and she totally deserves it. It's Jessica Chastain's story, first off. Nobody else is in it for more than a couple scenes. It follows her completely from start to finish. People come in and out of her story. They're really just more cameos than anything else. I believe the other people who star in this movie are Jason Clarke and Joel Edgerton. Jason Clarke character is kind of this, he's like this kind of rugged veteran CIA guy. He does a lot of the waterboarding and torture scenes that you kind of see at the beginning of the movie, and we'll get to that in a second. And Joel Edgerton plays Patrick, the leader of the kind of group that Jason Clarke and Jessica Chastain's character are under. And they are part of a group that are out to go and try and find Osama bin Laden and the leaders of Al-Qaeda. Now, this movie takes place over the course of several years. Like, it's a long period of time that this movie takes place in. Now, despite the fact that a lot of these characters seem to be coming in and out of the story, you don't really know much about them, it's fine. You're not really supposed to know much about them, I think. It's not really the main focus. And as far as characterization of Jessica Chastain's character, I think she has actually a lot of characterization. There's actually a lot to her that you can get. You really just have to watch them. It's not like one of the typical war movies where, you know, the two buddies are going to get into a corner after a huge battle and they're going to go like, hey, so yeah, I remember this time where I was playing baseball with my dad. No, it's not like that. Nothing against those movies, but it's a lot more subtle than that. And it kind of has to be, really. Obviously, for obvious security reasons, the real-life version of Maya in this movie, obviously, they don't want her personal information out there to people who may want to exact revenge for her key role in killing Osama bin Laden. That's why every character in this thing is kind of an alias, mostly. When they requested information on, like, making this movie, they likely said, like, look, we can't tell you who these people are. We can't tell you anything about their lives because that puts them at a security risk. So they had to make it up in other ways. There are scenes that, there are scenes in this movie that don't seem to make sense at first, but when you look at it in the overall case of it, it works. It makes sense. For instance, there's this one scene where Maya is returning back from workday in Pakistan. She returns to her apartment, and the way the scene is portrayed, it works to set up a ground base. So this is where she was here, and then for seemingly no other reason, about maybe an hour into the movie, it shows her entering the same apartment, and it's vastly different. I'm not going to really spoil exactly how because it's hard to explain, but it's those subtle things that are in the movie that really start to show, like, her growth throughout this entire journey. She goes from, like, being the new, timid, green recruit into the hard-ass, like, seriously, don't f*** with me kind of person. Like, she is, by the end of this movie, she is done. She is sick of going through all the bureaucratic crap and the frustration of trying to find one person in this part of the world. It is freaking hard. It's not even like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's like trying to find one hay in a pile of needles.
Hold that thought, SpongeBob, because it's time for a down-home favorite. Find the hay in the
Now, one thing straight up off the bat, I personally thought this movie was fantastic, but there is something that you need to know going in. It's a very procedural movie. It's a very long movie. There's not, it's not Hollywoodized at all. There's nothing glamorous about it. It's very dark. It's gritty. But that leads to the movie's strength, because it's being marketed as the factual truth of what actually happened in the search for Osama bin Laden. Which obviously, you know, it can't be completely 100% true. We'll never know that for sure, but it really lends to the movie that Kathryn Bigelow did as well a job as she could to really show what happened. And I thought that that was one of the movie's strengths, but it's also possibly one of the movie's downfalls, is that it is very procedural. It's very much so people fact-checking in a room. It's very much people typing away at their computers. It's not an action movie at all. Some people were thinking that this was going to be like an action movie, you know, the epic quest to kill Osama bin Laden, and there really isn't much of that. Even at the climax of the movie, the raid scene at the end of the movie, which is fantastic, but the raid scene at the end of the movie itself isn't even that focused on action. It really lends itself to telling the story. It really lends itself to adding this engulfing kind of feeling to it that I haven't really seen a movie done up until this point. Also, technically speaking, the movie is excellent, actually. The way the movie is presented is good. Kathryn Bigelow always has like that very good, as she proved in The Hurt Locker, that she has this very good way of setting up a boots on the ground setup where it's handheld, but it's not like a found footage movie where you're gonna get like all after 10 minutes of watching the thing. You're not gonna get motion sickness from it unless you're weird like that. Now on to the controversy. The controversy. Just proving the fact that no matter how well a subject is ever handled in a movie or any kind of media, somebody's always going to be there to bitch and complain about it. Okay, so let's get on to the first part. The allegations that the White House had released classified information to Hollywood to better sell the Obama administration. Listen, I don't know nearly enough about classified information to really know what in this movie was considered classified and what wasn't. But what I do know is that the movie leading up to this one was an election year. And during an election year, your opponent is going to find a fault in everything you do. Whether it's the economy, healthcare, gun control, or whether or not you release classified information to Hollywood to make your campaign look better. Which doesn't even make sense because the movie didn't come out until about a month and a half after the election anyway. So honestly, I don't think that claim holds any validity in this case. And now, of course, on to the torture. The allegations that this movie is a pro-torture movie. I don't think that at all. If anything, it's anti-torture. The few scenes that are in here are brutal. They're hard to watch. It's very, very uncomfortable to know that this is what happened. And actually, if you know anything about the subject, you know that what was actually shown in the movie was very tamed compared to what the investigations eventually showed what was actually going on in these enemy combatant prisons and what they were actually doing to them to try and get information out of them. As to the part about they got effective information out of the torture, well, I mean, there's even a part in the movie where they said, it's like, no, well, there's actually, you know that information we got from that torture victim? Well, it turned out that we actually heard about that about 10 years ago after 9/11. We just didn't pay attention to it, so sorry, our bad. Oops. The way I figure it, it's trying to show as accurate as possible about what actually happened. And it's simply saying, it's like, look, this is what happened. There was torture. That's it. I mean, it happened. There's no real getting around it. There's no imagining that it just didn't happen. So in my opinion, this movie also doesn't have any pro-torture. So in the end, Zero Dark 30 is a technically and a narratively brilliant movie. It has a layer of subtlety that really adds to the character. It has an amazing performance from Jessica Chastain. I thought it was excellently. It was maturely dealt with a subject that's very, very close to home to most Americans. And despite the allegations that there are certain controversy around this movie, I don't think that those controversies really hold up after seeing it. But that's just, of course, my opinion. I'm going to say Zero Dark 30 is worth it at full price. It was an excellent movie. I love the hell out of it. It's already on my list for probably my favorite movies of 2013. So, yeah, it was great. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the video. But I want to know what you guys think, because this is, of course, just my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment section down below, and tell me what you guys thought of Zero Dark 30. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you indifferent? Who knows? Comment below and let me know. Or if you're really brave, leave a video response. Those are always fun. But also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more. But thank you guys. See you guys next time.